Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are going to be going over the best JDM cars for every price range from $1,000 to $25,000. In case you're new here, you haven't seen me do one of these videos yet, it's what it sounds like. The theme is JDM cars, and I'm going to tell you which ones I believe are the best for every price range, starting at $1,000 and doing $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. Then once we get to 10, we'll do $15,000, $20,000, and then $25,000. What are, in my opinion, the best JDM cars for each one of those prices. Obviously, keep in mind that anything below $3,000 in 2025 is obviously going to have extremely high miles, probably a lot of rust, might not even have a title, or if it does have a title, the title is going to be in like somebody else's name that doesn't even own the car. It's going to be a nightmare to get the thing right. What I'm trying to say is in 2025, cars for under 3K, every car under 3K is questionable, to say the least. Song of the day is called 115. I don't know who it's really by, technically, but it's in Black Ops 1 Zombies for the Kino der Toten Easter egg song. Okay, so it sounds silly, but it is an absolute banger. Go give it a listen. But without further ado, let's go right into it. What I believe to be the best JDM car for less than $1,000. Alright, and as for the $1,000 mark, we're going to be going with the Honda Accord 7th generation. Obviously, for $1,000, literally every single car that the world has ever produced is going to be a ticking time bomb, and you are just going to get an absolutely destroyed, useless car. But this one, you could find some under 1K, and I think it's actually kind of a relatively decent deal. The car comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 166 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. It's a K series as well, so you can actually have a little bit of fun with this car. Now, keep in mind, yeah, obviously the ones that you're finding under 1K are going to have close to like 300,000 miles, and even though it is a K series, that's still a lot of miles. It's still going to be a beat-up car, and it's going to need some work is what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, you got a four-door car, plenty of space, reliable as hell, and a motor that can have a little bit of fun. The looks, not the best obviously, but not bad. And as for the $2,000 price range, this car is nowhere near like as fun as the last car, I would say, but it's by far a lot better in terms of like daily drivability. Well, realistically speaking, they're kind of similar in the same boat, I guess you could say, but either way, it's a Toyota Camry 4th generation. This is like the late 90s Camrys. These are the ones that everybody jokes about for being just like the best first car out there, and there's a good reason for that. They come with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 158 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. Literally the same displacement, same amount of cylinders, same cylinder pattern as the Accord 7th that we just talked about, but with 8 less horsepower. So if you're getting it stock, honestly, man, I just recommend going with the Camry over the Accord. However, if you do plan on modifying it, that's where the Accord, obviously with the K series, that's where it shines. But the Camry is an incredible daily driver. And as for the $3,000 range, yes, these cars are still able to be found under $3,000. And yes, Mark Roden still glazes the ever-loving poo-poo out of them. I love them that much. The Acura TL 3rd generation is the car that I decided to go with. I mean, these things are just truly miraculous that they're even under 3K right now. It absolutely blows me away. The car comes with a 3.2 liter V6, making 258 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. That's pretty damn decent horsepower numbers. Now, yes, it is a V6, so it's not obviously going to make a ton of horsepower, especially for a Honda motor. You'll have better luck with a B series, with a K series, but it's plenty out of the gate. You have 260 out of the gate, and it's an Acura. This car is going to be extremely reliable, and on top of all that, it's like a pretty luxurious, like nice Acura too. Like this car has, for $3,000, I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, believe that this is like an insane deal. One of the best cars for less than 5K right now. And as for the $4,000 price range, this is where it starts to get a little scary poo, because the car is, in my opinion, better, and I'd rather have this car, but the one that you're finding for less than 4K is much more sketchy than the TL we just talked about, and the Camry, honestly. The Lexus LS400. These cars come with a 4 liter V8, making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Just an overall more enjoyable platform, in my opinion. Like, it has more power. Yes, these are land yachts. Yes, they're only available as automatic, but they do have more power, and they are rear-wheel drive. You're going to have, in my personal opinion, a little bit more fun with your LS400 than you are with the other cars, but the downside comes within the reliability. Now, before I get flamed, yes, the 1UZ FE is an extremely reliable motor, honestly, probably more reliable than the 3 motors that we talked about so far. However, the people that own these LS400s for less than 4K nowadays, they're just beat up. They took no care of these motors, and even though they are reliable, you still have to take care of them, and the people just didn't. So just be careful with this one, but if you can find a decent LS400 for less than 4K, I think it's a good idea. Staying in the Lexus family, because obviously cheap Lexuses are just always going to be a good deal, coming in for the less than $5,000 mark. This is obviously one of the most important numbers on this list, 5K. I feel like everybody's always kind of looking up like best cars for less than $5,000. I stayed with the Lexus family, like I said, and I went with the Lexus IS300. Do I think the IS300 is overall the better car than the LS400? It really depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for the daily, I think the LS400 is definitely better. But if you're looking for more fun, then the IS300 is definitely better. This car comes with a 3-liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Less horsepower, yes, but these cars were available as manual. Finding a manual for less than 5K is a different story, but they were available as a manual. And they have a much shorter wheelbase and are much lighter, and the motor itself is much better for building power than the one you see is as well. It's definitely the more sporty car than the LS400, so you got to make that decision. $6,000. It is absolutely insane for me to be saying that this is a good car to buy for less than $6,000. Literally 3 years ago, they were under $3,000. But either way, it's the Mazda Miata NA. Yeah, obviously the JDM tax has taken its toll on a lot of cars, and this is one that's been affected severely by the JDM tax within the last couple of years. It's actually insane. Like, dude, this is one of the fastest, like, growing cars in terms of price in the most recent years by far. Like, it doesn't seem like much because it's just like a couple $1,000s, but think about that in like dude, these cars were like literally selling for 2K 3 years ago, and now they're like 6K. That's a triple the price increase in 3 years. It's insane. Either way, the NA Miata comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. What else can I say about Miatas that hasn't been said already? They're extremely lightweight, extremely small wheelbase. They're go-karts for the road. As for $7,000, it ain't a Mark Roden video unless I'm talking about this bad boy, because it is the Nissan 350Z. For those who don't know, I owned a 350Z, and every single day of my life, I wish I never sold it, because I loved my 350Z, even though it had a ton of limp mode issues. I liked that car. 350Zs are, in my opinion, still one of the best cars you can buy for less than $10,000 out there. You get bang for your buck wise, I would say. Especially if you don't really plan on like modifying your car too much and just kind of want a good amount of power out of the gate. The car comes with a 3.5-liter V6, making 306 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That is an HR, but for less than 7K you can find an HR, so that it's no big deal. And once you do, these cars are reliable. It's another LS400 situation where it's like, yes, they're reliable if you can find the right one, but 90% of the owners destroy them and don't take care of them, and so then they're not reliable anymore. But if you can find a pretty decent one, dude, you got a rear-wheel drive, limited slip differential from factory, dude, like 6-speed manual transmission, 300 horsepower out of the gate, and all in a car that I personally think looks absolutely incredible. As for the $8,000 price range, we are, of course, going to be talking about another car that's been absolutely reamed by the JDM tax, the Nissan 240SX S13. Even though they are extremely overpriced, probably, in my opinion, one of the most overpriced JDM cars of all time, and that is including cars like the R34 GTR and A80 Supra. Like, at least the A80 Supra and R34, they had great motors. It makes sense why they're so expensive. But with the S13, I'm going to be honest, I don't really get it. The car comes with a 2.4-liter inline-4, making 145 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That motor is called the KA. It is not that great for building power. Don't let the S-chassis boys lie to you about that. The SR20 was. But no, our KAs here in America are not. Stop lying to ourselves. But the car itself is extremely lightweight. It is rear-wheel drive, has probably the most amount of aftermarket support of any JDM car out there. You are going to have a ton of fun with it if you buy one. And as for the $9,000 price range, yet again, another car that used to make its appearance in my under 5K videos, but since the TikTok JDM car craze blew up, these cars are unfortunately not under 5K anymore. It is the Acura RSX Type S. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest, you can find a Type S RSX for less than like 5K nowadays. It is possible, but I did it myself. I went to go look at them before I bought my Integra. I wanted one of these so bad, so I went and looked at like four of them, my bad, and every single one of them were not worth no 5K. These cars come with a 2-liter inline-4, making 200 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. It is another K-Series. It is a better K-Series, more sport-oriented than the one found in the Accord that we talked about earlier. The car is also extremely gorgeous and is specifically made for, like, performance, whereas the Accord is obviously mainly made for daily driving. And the $10,000 price range. Yeah, you could find them under 10K nowadays. I don't know how much people are going to be excited about them, I should say, but either way, it's going to be going to the Subaru BRZ ZN6. The reason why I say that is because realistically speaking, they are worth 10K, but it's hard to, like, performance wise, it's questionable. The car comes with a 2-liter flat 4, making 200 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive, and that's the reason why everybody kind of likes to bash on these cars. It is, at the end of the day, just a 200 horsepower car. Now, the car is extremely lightweight though, especially for the time it was made, and it's got a really short wheelbase and is sport oriented. It looks nice. It's got a lot of modern technology, modern features in it and stuff like that. It is worth, in my opinion, $10,000. And since the ZN8 has come out, the ZN6 is now right around that $10,000 price range. However, as for $15,000, this is obviously the part of the list where we start to get into the cars that we don't talk about too much on the old Mark Roden channel, because I typically make cheap cars videos, and we're officially at the point where it's like, they're still affordable, but they're not cheap, you know what I mean? And for $15K though, I went with the Honda S2000. I think these cars are just absolutely gorgeous in every single regard, and they're everything cool about Honda while being rear-wheel drive. Like, that's just awesome. The car comes with a 2-liter inline-4, making 237 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. I do believe that's the statistics for the AP1 S2K. That's the only one you're going to be able to find for less than $15,000 though. The AP2s are a little bit more wanted, but nonetheless, they are incredible cars. And like I said, they're everything good about Hondas: reliability, performance, handling, all that stuff, but in a rear-wheel drive package. One of the only like 2 Hondas that I can think of that were ever rear-wheel drive. Now, unfortunately, even though it is rear-wheel drive, they do tend to have really bad differentials, so you're not going to be like drifting these things or anything like that, but they are still fun cars. Alrighty lads, and the $20,000 price range, again, officially at the part of the list where these cars I don't get to talk about enough at all. But either way, I went with the Mitsubishi Evo 9. The fact that these are even around the $20,000 price range makes me so freaking happy and excited for the future, because I love Evo 9s. They're one of my favorite JDM cars of all time, period. They're absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, and the fact that they're like not even like affordable, but easily affordable once you get it like up there in age, makes me happy. The car comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 280 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. That is the 4G63. Don't think I need to tell you guys about that, but in case I do, these motors are absolutely incredible. They can handle literally any power you throw at them, and the car looks insane while also being all-wheel drive and having 4 doors. Like, the Evos are just God's gift to Earth. But finally, for the $25,000 price range, this is the only car on this entire list that is actually like a genuine JDM car. The rest of them are just technically USDM Japanese cars. But this one is an actual car that you need to buy imported from Japan. I guess you maybe could probably get them Australian, so they could be like AUDM or whatever they call them. But either way, it's the Nissan Skyline GTST R33. I was going to do R32s, but I feel like R32s are kind of played out at this point. R33s are sick cars. The car comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-6, making 212 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. They're really very, very decent platforms. Yeah, now they're like, obviously they're not as good as the GTRs. You know, it doesn't have the close to 300 horsepower. It doesn't have the RB26 det, and it's not twin turbo. It's not all-wheel drive. It's not as good, obviously. But in terms of like drifting and stuff like that, and just being more affordable, an R33 GTST, or just any GTST, R34 or R32 is an insane option in my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the best JDM cars from $1,000 all the way up to $25,000. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos I'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels, or any of the Great Moment Jumbo. Also, I will be leaving a comment down below with my new YouTube channel that I started to upload any sort of gameplay videos. So if you guys are interested in watching me play like random video, I'm talking like the most random video games of all time. It's not going to have any theme whatsoever, just playing whatever game I want to play, and just kind of talking, yapping away while playing the video game. Check it out. I'll leave a comment down below. It should just say something like, this is my new channel. It's called Giggity Plays. So yeah, if you guys want to go check that out, by all means. Also guys, for the next couple videos though, it's gonna get pretty spicy on the Mark Roden channel. First off, we have a deep dive video coming out very, very shortly for the first time in I think literally like a year, so that's awesome. And then on top of that, I went to a car show recently, an exotic car show with my buddy Raph, and I filmed the entire thing, and so that video will also be going live relatively soon. So we got some bangers coming out soon is what I'm trying to say, guys. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.